Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Unfucking Your CX. I'm your host, Zach Hamilton, and this is a very, very special edition of Unfucking Your CX in the hot seat today. And the reason why it's so special is this guest that I have on we have been peers, and I also had the privilege of working directly for this guy. And what I love about him is we've sweated through the trenches in some back rooms, no air conditioning when we were at Aaron's. Steve, welcome to the hot seat, man.
So happy to be here, man. I love our conversation, Zach. And one thing I love about you is we both kind of grew up playing the game. You
Yeah.
got to play the game sometimes to earn your stripes, to learn. And now what I like about you is you're redefining the game. You took what you learned playing the game, and now you're redefining it. And I love how you're doing it in an authentic way. So I'm trying to do something similar, man. It's like take what we learned playing the game and redefine it the way we think it should be played. And it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it is pretty special, and I appreciate that. I think there's no telling where our conversation's going to go in the next 15, 20 minutes, just knowing us. But what I can guarantee our guests is you're going to laugh. I can promise you that. It will be fun. But Steve, before we get into it, like with all the other guests, typically these conversations just don't come up organically, like in the office, because you're either busy in meetings or you feel like you need a safe space to talk about something. So where's this happening today? Pub, restaurant. You're in Nashville, so there's some good stuff down there.
Yeah, I could see this conversation. So we're blessed to participate with Tennessee ACG, which is the Association for Corporate Growth. And every so often we get together, we have great, networking events, celebrate companies that are growing. These are the conversations that are happening at that hotel ballroom, standing around a pub table, eating some snacks or hors d'oeuvres, and you're talking to other business owners, other business leaders, what's going right, what's not going right for them. And these are some of the conversations that are coming up, that are happening
Yeah,
around those tables with other business owners and business leaders.
I love it. I love it. So let's get into it. For our listeners, Steve has seen it all. So from a B2C side, look, we both grew up at Aaron's, Steve as a store manager to multi-unit leader to divisional vice president of operations, came into the home office for a little bit, was our VP of sales and customer experience, which is when I had the privilege of reporting directly to him. Ultimately, on the B2B side, you're the COO, right? So you're running operations day to day. And I know you, one of the most important things you care the most about, other than the people who work for you in the business, is your customers. And so, Steve, as a veteran, what's that one topic that just continuously comes up about customer experience that makes you cringe and you want to set the record straight today?
100%. Too many companies treat customer experience like a budget line item instead of an integral part of their strategy. So today I want to talk about how companies oftentimes they're throwing money at CX problems instead of actually solving them, and then some player tips on what we can do differently.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's what I'd love to ask you though first is, do you think businesses just look at CX as a cost item because the only thing that they can see on the P&L is the cost of like your VOC provider, your SaaS contract, or is it something else?
I think they view because I'm probably in this boat too, we view CX through the lens of only how much the program is costing the company. And the CEO, the COO, the organizational leader is measuring that return only through the lens of one or two fundamental scores, like a CSAT or NPS, and not connecting the dots to financial outcomes. So yes, unfortunately, I think that they're only looking at it through how much is the vendor cost, or we have two people working in CX. What's that line? What's that costing us? I think that's an issue.
Yeah, and I'll elaborate on it a little bit more, right? So too many people believe that the executive team should just get it, right? They should just understand, they should know how to connect those dots. And most of the time they don't know. So, do you think this is not let me reframe this. Do you think this is a misunderstanding or a failure point of the CX leader to ensure the executive team understands the continuous value being delivered back into the business?
Yeah, actually, this leads us into the first player tip. So it's a great segue. It's funny you said this. Let me start by saying first, it should not be the responsibility of the CX leader to be passionate enough about customer service to connect the dots. The CEO, the owner, the COO, they should be just as passionate, if not more passionate, because it's the customers that are driving the revenue. It's the customers that are paying the bills. Why would you not be the cheerleader for customer experience and only view customer experience as a P&L line item? So we need CX leaders to step up and take more ownership of selling the why and connecting the dots for the executive team. But let's be honest, dude, like we're way past at this point having to sell executives. If the executive team doesn't understand how important customer experience and turning insights into action and connecting the dots on a P&L are to their business, like you almost got to question if they're the right person to run that business at this point. Like at some point, we got to get past this, man.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's interesting actually that you say that because you were in that meeting when, our CEO was like, look, there's a big blind side when it comes to customer experience. All we know is we have this score. I don't know anything else. And so, I walked in with NPS trends and text analytics models. And I think you're the one that had to jack the jaw up off the desk when he was like, so what? And I was like, so what? What do you mean? Like, I'm answering the question to you. But I think that was the most pivotal moment in my career because I had to learn that our executives don't speak customer and I had to speak P&L. And what you were saying though is executive leaders need to start speaking customer.
100%. And the thing that we ran into as one of our biggest hurdles is CX death by comparison. And what I mean by that is, well, my NPS score is 50, but my competitor's NPS score is 48 and the industry standard is 46. Man, we're killing it. We're doing great. And what they fail to realize is you're missing a lot of retractors that are killing your business, an opportunity to grow and differentiate yourself in the marketplace by taking a narrow view of we're doing as good or a little bit better than our competitors, so we must be okay. And I think that is death by comparison. That's what you and I fought. And I think
Yeah.
that a lot of CX leaders continue to face that. It's hard to sell the benefit, how meaningful a program is, if in the eyes of the executive team, you're already doing as good or a little better maybe than some of your competition. They don't see the gap.
Yeah. I think though, going back to this first player tip, getting executives to really understand customer experience. I mean, I actually look at customer experience as really a performance metric, but ultimately it's not offered in a college program, right? There's one kind of MBA program now with CX in it, but it's not in your traditional MBA program, which is where these CEOs and executive leaders live. And so ultimately, how have you trained yourself up on customer just beyond just when I was reporting into you, but that was several years ago. You've continued just to stay fresh on the trends. So what are some of those things that you're doing as part of this first player tip that executive leaders should be learning
Yeah,
from you?
100%. First thing, you got to get sold out. And it's usually moments that create memories. The moment for me was probably 12 years ago or more, quite frankly, when we were dealing with customer ops. And what we were supposed to do at Aaron's is you just got to resolve the customer op. You have a certain amount of time. You got to get it resolved. If it doesn't get resolved, it gets escalated and you get on a bad list. It wasn't about issues, solving issues. It was about getting off the list. Well, what I did was I took it a step further and I looked at my customer opportunities and I aggregated them into, hey, what's the number one biggest complaint? And what I discovered is the number one biggest complaint was phone calls. Customers didn't like those collection renewal type phone calls. So we tried to solve for that, and we solved through that through autopay, as you know, and getting people's accounts set up properly to eliminate that. And when I started to see the connection of resolving customer issues directly with the KPI, and that's really the first player tip, is You have to align CX data with financial KPIs to create ownership and buy-in across the organization. But when I had that moment, Zach, that moment created the memory for me where I'm bought in now, dude. I believe in this. I've seen it work, and
Yeah.
I'm going to continue with this the rest of my career.
Yeah, absolutely. And think about it, right? You did a simple root cause analysis to really understand what's driving this, which I love. What's the second player tip?
Second player tip is you got to, it goes back to kind of what I just alluded to, but you have to solve the root, not the symptom. Throwing money at the problem, that's masking the real issue, because this is what I see. In our previous life, when there were issues or elevated complaints or problems, there was a tendency from the operations side specifically to say, I need more team members, I need more hours, I need more bandwidth. In a call center environment, if complaints start to spike up, the natural reaction is, I need more agents. And really what it's saying is, you may have a broken process. So the tip here is just to use some root cause analysis. You even mentioned before you just start allocating resources, to try to understand what's happening. And I got one trick that I like to use. It's called asking the 5 whys. You ask why 5 times. And if you do that enough, you ultimately get to the root cause of an issue. And an example of that is I'm in manufacturing now with one of our businesses, CDF. We do light manufacturing. If one of our machines goes down, I ask the question, why did the machine go down? Well, because the fan motor went out. Why did the fan motor go out? Well, because it was low on oil and it burned up. Why was it low on oil? Because we didn't do preventative maintenance. Why didn't we do preventative maintenance? Because we don't have a preventative maintenance program. If you ask why 5 times at least, you're going to ultimately get to the root cause of the issue. So don't focus on just solving the problem. Do some root cause analysis and take a deep dive to start solving these problems and prevent them from happening.
I think that's so important, especially when you're doing it with your team members, right? Because now that's also an incredible coaching moment and they're starting to think through and solve problems on their own. Just to shout out, if you're a business listening to this and you got a door that goes down, you just got to CDF it, man. Remember that?
Percent.
Turning CDF into a verb?
That's right. CDF it.
You got to CDF it.
Just like Google it,
Or Uber.
chat
Or Uber it.
GPT it, or Uber it, or DoorDash it. CDF it, man. That's
Or
right.
CDF it. That's right. Steve, what's your third player tip?
Okay, I had to save this one for last because like when it comes to people, we got to make this one big. And you can teach people what to do and you can teach them how to do things, but you can't teach someone to love people. You can't teach them to care. This starts with hiring. So I got to say, you hire heart, not just head. You can train skills, but you can't teach someone how to feel empathy. So when you're in an interview, you have to ask questions that will tell you, is this a person I'm talking to that really loves people and cares about people? Because I promise you, that is going to translate into the passion that that individual has for solving customer problems, preventing customer issues, and advocating for the customer because they love people.
Yeah, I think look, experiences get delivered through people. I mean, sure, I might interact with a digital website, but who built the digital website? Who QA'd that digital website? Who coded that digital website? And I've always that line, this kind of core lesson that you're talking about right now, we could go so deep on it, but, loved people love people, right? That is so critical. If you think about the world today, we just have this longing and desire for human connection, right? And so ultimately, to your point, if you're hiring people who don't like to talk to people, they're just looking for a job. Well, how do you expect them to really execute your brand promise and meet and exceed customer expectations if they don't even really want to talk to you to begin with?
Right.
And I feel like that's almost every single retailer that I've walked into lately. You can't find anyone. And when you do, it's almost like I am bugging them when I'm just trying to find like a certain size that I could go make a purchase on.
At the end of the day, there is no argument to what I'm about to say, and that is People who genuinely care about others will always create a better experience for your brand. But you have to find and hire people who genuinely care about others before you can get that better experience.
I think we'll end it there because I don't think there's any greater lesson than that. Steve, if our listeners want to continue to have a conversation with you, where can they find you?
I love engaging on social media. Like, I love LinkedIn. It's a great platform. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I've even joined the TikTok, trying to put out some content
Gosh,
there. So that's the best way to connect. Or you can connect with us at our 3PX coaching show on YouTube or on our social media accounts there. So just, I love to talk about this stuff, man. That's for sure.
are you and Lindy doing dances on TikTok?
I am not doing dances on TikTok. I did do a Juneteenth dance that I put on Facebook though. So if you
I
want to see
saw
me
it.
if you want to see me dancing to boots on the ground, it's there for the public consumption. You can see it.
I
Steve with
saw
zero,
it.
zero rhythm.
I will say one of my favorite clips so far of your podcast is the whole profitability example with the roll of toothpaste because that happens here as well. So for our listeners, Steve has a podcast as well. What's that podcast called again, Steve?
3PX show, and 3PX stands for People, Profit, Process, and Experience. Basically, what we're talking about right now, customer experience.
Yeah, so please take a listen. It's an incredible podcast. I love listening to the drops when they come out. Steve, thank you so much for coming to the hot seat. Don't be a stranger, brother. And hopefully, I'll catch up with you in Nashville soon.
Absolutely. Hey, love you, man. Had a great time.
Absolutely. See you, bud.
See you.